Okay, so it's my first day of travel. It's the travel day, so I'll be on the plane for 11 and a half hours, which kind of sucks, but it's okay. They gave me a pillow for my butt so it doesn't get too sore. But yeah, so my day so far has been uneventful, but also very eventful. It's kind of a weird combination. This morning, I said goodbye to my family, and it was tough. Definitely a lot of emotions, but definitely a lot of emotions, but I know that I'll have a good trip, and they know that too, so that it made saying goodbye easier, just knowing that it would all be okay. My sister drove me to the San Francisco airport, and it was really nice having just some quality sister time, but then I had to say goodbye to her, and it was so hard all over again, just like it was at home with my family. But I got through it, and then I checked my bag, went through security. It was all really, really easy, really quick. The airport was pretty empty. So I got to my gate like 2 hours early, and I was like, okay, well, what do I do? But I remembered that mom had given me like a premium member club pass or something for a lounge. So I decided I would go looking for the lounge. So I walked into the first club room that I happened upon, and I asked, hey, do you take this membership card? And they said, no. And I was like, okay, well, where do they take the card? And they said, oh, well, there's only one lounge in the airport, and it's all the way in gate A. But I was at gate G, and so gate A was on all the way the other side of the airport. But since I was there 2 hours early, I decided, okay, well, I'll go anyway because I have nothing to do, and why not get some exercise before sitting in the plane? So, but I did ask, how far is it? And they said, oh, like a 25-35 minute walk. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll do it anyway. So I'm trekking across the airport with my backpack, my suitcase. The suitcase keeps hitting my heels because the handle isn't long enough. But then I come across this club lounge, and it's not the one she's talking about, but I'm hoping they'll take the card anyway. And so I walk in, I'm like, hey, do you take this membership card? Can I get into your club? And they say no, only one place does. And I was like, okay, then I guess I'll listen to them. There's only one club. And I say, okay, well, how far is it? And they go, oh, 25-35 minutes. I'd already been walking for 5-10 minutes, and they're telling me the same amount of time. How far really is this place? And so I walk across the airport, and it takes like 30 minutes, and it's horrible because it's hot and my shoulders are hurting. But I make it there eventually, and I get some food, I use the bathroom, and I just kind of chill there for a little bit, maybe like half an hour. And the place actually looks pretty bougie, like it's pretty nice. But then I decided I have to leave my flight, and so I start walking back, and it was easier going back because I think I had gotten a chance to cool down. And so I got to the gate like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes before my group was ready to board, and I started talking to this girl who was also on a study abroad program, but she's a junior in college. But we still talk, and like, she's nice, we were chatting, and then it's our turn to board, and I get on the plane, and first of all, there was someone sitting in my seat, so I was like, hey, you're in my seat, like, can you move? But they were like, what are you talking about? Like, we have 3 tickets for this row, and even though we like reconfigured, we have this seat. I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening, but it's not right. So I talked to a flight attendant, and turns out there was a duplicate in the tickets or something. But they got it sorted out, and I ended up getting moved to see if it's okay because I still have my window. And then finally got the seats figured out, and then they were like, oh, and by the way, we don't have room for your suitcase over here. I was like, oh, okay, then where's it gonna go? So I have to stand around for like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, waiting for them to find a spot for my suitcase, and they finally do, but it's in the first class area, which means I can't really access it, and it'll take a while or it's just not as convenient to get for getting off the plane, but it's okay, it'll be fine. But yeah, so now I'm just gonna read and try to get some sleep before I arrive in Barcelona. Okay, so today was the first real day of my trip, and it was pretty good, but definitely really exhausting. So I First of all, on the plane, I slept like 7 hours, almost 7 hours, which was pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. And then I got off and met up with the people with Get Ready, the organization, and it was all really easy. I was the last one, so I felt kind of bad, but at least that way I didn't have to wait. So then we got on the bus and drove to the youth hostel, which is actually pretty nice. I'll post some pictures. And so we got like maybe 45 minutes to settle into the hostel before we were gonna go on like a 45 minute walk to the beach. So since it was a beach, I was like, okay, well, I'll wear flip-flops because, you know, sand, and like I don't want to get my new Birkenstock dupes all dirty with sand. But the walk ended up being more like an hour and in the city, and I didn't walk on the beach at all. And so I definitely would have been better off in Birkenstocks or even tennis shoes, because by the end of it my feet hurt really bad, but it was okay, it was fun. But it was also really hot and humid. I really don't like the humidity. But then we got to the beach and we had free time for like an hour and a half to do whatever we wanted, but that was our only chance to get dinner. So then me, Nella, and this girl we met, Eula, I don't know if I'm saying that right, we went to this restaurant that we found and ordered paella and shared it, and it was really good. But again, it was really warm because I don't think they had AC, and we chose to sit on the top level because the view was better, but we didn't think through that it'd be hotter. Anyway, so we ate the paella and it was really good, and then we went back to the meeting place at 8, and then by then luckily we had a chance to like cool down and give our feet a rest. But then we started walking again, and it was even longer on the way back than on the way there. It was like over an hour walk, and by then my feet were already hurting so bad. And even though we had cooled off, it like the humidity and the heat just got to us again, and it was so hot all over again. And I brought a jacket because I'm used to Davis where it cools down like 20 degrees every night, but here it really doesn't cool off. So I was just holding my jacket in my hand, and it was really hot. But overall it was fun, and I met some cool people. I don't actually know how many roommates because there were 2 busloads that came, one with me and one with what seems to be all the other Americans, because I am the only American here right now. Like there's a couple Australians, but really I'm the only American, which was kind of surprising. But so then while we were at the beach, then the other busload with more American people came in, and their stuff is littered around, but I don't see them, so I don't know what they're like. But I'm tired, but not as tired as I expected to be. But I will still get ready for bed, and I'm sure as soon as I lay down, I'm gonna fall asleep right away. So yeah, that was my day 1. Okay, so today's day 2 in Barcelona, and it was a pretty full day. I took a lot of pictures, so you'll see a lot on the screen. So this morning I woke up at like, 8:45, and I actually slept a decent amount. I woke up a couple times in the middle of the night, but I just took melatonin and it was fine. And then I woke up and went down to breakfast and had like, just basic like bread, ham, and cheese, and it was okay. And then we had an information meeting for like an hour and a half, and the chairs were super uncomfortable and I hurt my back, but it was okay. We got a lot of useful information. And it's been kind of surprising because everyone is speaking English, like there's no Spanish. Even the staff members are just speaking English to everyone, so I don't know why that is, but a lot of the people here don't speak very good Spanish, so I guess if they want to give information, they have to do it in English, otherwise people wouldn't understand it. But then after the information meeting, we got split into groups, and I was in the biggest one. There were like 42 people in my group, and we went on a hop-on hop-off bus to the beach, and we got free time to get lunch, and all the meals have been really late. Like we had lunch 3 o'clock, and last night we had dinner at like 8 or 9, and today we had dinner at like 8:30. Like Spanish mealtime is real. Other than breakfast. And then so after we ate lunch, we went back on the hop-on hop-off tour, and then we went to Park Güell. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it was really pretty. And I walked around with this girl Yule and Amalia. Amalia we met today. She's from Canada, and Yule is from Germany. And then Nella was in a different group, so we couldn't hang out with her, but hopefully she made some new friends too. So we went to the park and looked around, and that's where most of the pictures are from. And then we went back on the hop-on, hop-off bus and had free time to like wander around and get dinner. So I got dinner with Yule and Amalia. I got like a salad and a curry, like focaccia bun, but that actually reminded me a lot of rojamo, which that's a sandwich thing, right? I think that's a sandwich thing. So yeah, it reminded me of rojamo. I don't know why. Maybe it's something about the flavors, but it was really good. And then I stopped by the supermarket because I wanted to buy a charging cord. And so I asked him how much it was because, you know, it's a different wall plug in Spain versus the US. So I asked him how much the charging cord was, and he said $2.50. But I thought he said dos, which is 2, but he said doce, which is 12. So I was prepared to pay $2.50, which I thought was kind of cheap, but I was just going to go with it. But turns out it was $12.50. So I did not get that because I think there will be something cheaper in Jerez. And I go there in a couple days anyway. So I'll just wait. But one thing that I forgot to say last night or earlier was that last night I had like a little bit of trouble falling asleep just because my allergies were really bad. Like so bad I was worried I was coming down with a cold because I also had a headache. And then this morning I woke up with like a pounding headache. But I've drinking a lot of water today and food helped, and I got like this vitamin C drink from the supermarket because it's like just across the street. So that helped, and now I'm feeling pretty much healthy. I still get like a headache a little bit if I'm walking uphill or like get my heart beating fast, but I'm hoping it's okay. And I talked to another girl, Yule, and she said that she's also feeling a little sick since coming to Spain, so maybe it's just like getting used to the new environment or something about the water or something, but it'll be fine. I'm feeling a lot better now anyway. So, yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. Also, since I went into town today, I spoke a little more Spanish because, like, ordering food and everything, it was just simpler ordering it in Spanish. Yeah. Oh, and then also at the information meeting, someone recommended recording yourself speaking Spanish now, like just 30 seconds or something, and then recording yourself at the end of the program just to see how much your fluency improves and like pronunciation and everything. So I think I'm gonna do that tonight. Okay, that's all. That was my day 2. Okay, so today is my day 3 in Barcelona, day 4 of the trip. Sorry if that's confusing. And this video might be a long one because I actually started taking notes today of things I wanted to talk about. So hopefully I won't forget it because I realized I have not told you how many roommates I ended up with. 5. So 6 of us total, and I posted a picture day 1. So I think you know what it looks like. It's small, but I mean everyone has their own space, so it's okay. The hostel is like, it's like not downtown, but there's stuff around it. Like there's a supermarket right across the street where I got this. And there's like 5 floors, and I'm on the 3rd floor, and it has a separate toilet and shower. So I'm gonna take a shower tonight. And then, so things about Spain. So, what Salvi told us was so true. The sun is very bright. Even when it was overcast and like cloudy and gray, it was so bright sometimes that I had to squint. And then today the sun was out for the first time, and I didn't bring my sunglasses. I don't know why, but I didn't. And we were on a boat on the water, and the sun was shining so bright, and I just couldn't look in a certain direction because my eyes started watering. And so like one of the staff tried taking a picture of us, and they took so long to take the picture that all of us our eyes started watering because it was so bright. yeah. And then also a random thing about Spain, their stoplights are different. So like some of them have the green, yellow, red, but then some of them are just flashing yellow. So if it's yellow, that means stop. If it's flashing, that means you're gonna have to stop soon, like a yellow light on a normal stoplight. And then if it's just dark, then you can go. It's weird. And then also the crosswalks, you don't have to push a button or anything. It's just on like a time thing all the time. And then so I'm here with like a bunch of European people, like there's one other American and like 2 Australians and maybe a British person, but I haven't met them. So it's like it's very European here. Like people dress really fancy, like really fancy. Like this girl was wearing a pearl necklace off the plane with like a skirt and like a headband, like fancy. And they wear makeup, like natural makeup is still everyone wears makeup. Only me, the girl from Canada, and maybe a couple others don't. And they never have their hair down. And nearly everyone has either blonde hair and or blue or green eyes. Like I've never seen so many light eyes at once in my life. It's kind of crazy. And then in terms of the group, we have 96 people, approximately. I think it might be 97, but you know. And there's like 10 boys. So there's a lot of girls. And then let me check what else. Also, people here walk a lot. So like the first day I thought, you know, we were going to the beach, so I wore flip-flops. And that made my calves so sore. And every day it just gets worse because we're walking, like we still walk. So yeah, my calves are really sore, but it's okay. I can feel the muscles growing. In terms of phone charging, it's been hard to charge my phone a little bit because with the 3 pieces, because of all the adapters, it's a little finicky. So I want to buy a cord, but I think I said yesterday I tried buying one and it was $12.50. So I did not, but it's okay. It's been working so far. It's been really humid here. Like the humidity is 60-70%, and at home it's like 20. So big difference. And so yeah, I've been sweaty. I gotta take a shower tonight. And then also I'm like the odd one out because everyone here uses Celsius and I obviously use Fahrenheit, so like I don't know what they're talking about. Like 20 degrees I think is like 70-ish and 40 is like 104, and that's all I know. So there are a lot of motorcycles here. So I don't know why, but there are a lot of motorcycles. So today I woke up at like 8:45 for breakfast, just like yesterday. Had the same breakfast. It was really boring, but today I had a donut, so that was good. And then we had like an hour and a half free time, so I just hung out with Amalia, Yule, and Noah. So my other exchange student, a German girl and a Canadian girl. And we just like hung out. We found this like cool little hangout room, which I'll show pictures of. And then we got into our groups. Today I was assigned to go to the catamaran ride and then have free time, but well, I'll tell you later. But so there were 2 groups merged for catamaran tour because then after the catamaran tour, some people were having free time and some people were going to Camp Nou, which is like kind of a museum of a soccer stadium, but of course they say football here. And so we went on the metro to the catamaran. But you know, metros are like busy and bustling, and so they're always in a rush, so the doors are timed. And so our group was getting on the metro or the train or whatever, and me and Amalia were at the back of the group, and everyone got on, and then the doors started closing. And so I tried pushing the button to open them, and it didn't open. And both the staff were already on the train, and so we were like, oh my god, what do we do? And so the staff like showed through the window, like pointed at her phone, I'll text you. And so me and Amalia just like waited for the next train to come by, and we were like, oh my god, this totally reminds me of mom and grandma in Austria. And the poor staff was so worried. She was like, okay, you're getting off at this stop, look at the screen. And then she sent a picture of the screen in case we didn't know where it was. And like, yeah, but we got off the train and it was totally fine. And then we went to the catamaran tour and it was really pretty. And we saw some jellyfish. I tried taking a picture and it was horrible, but Amalia had one that she sent to me, so that's nice. And then after the tour, they told the people for free time that they would have free time until 10 p.m. But it was only like 3:30, and so that's like too much. That's too much free time, if you ask me. So I asked them if I could switch to the football stadium, and they said yes. Sorry if there's some background noise. So then we were given an hour to go find lunch because we've been getting meals ourselves going into town and stuff. And so today I had an udon noodle bowl, and I just lit one with Amalia because like I don't want to have extra food because I have nowhere to store it. So we went to the football stadium. It was really cool. It was very modern. I didn't know what to expect from the football stadium, but it was really cool. It was like a mini museum. I have pictures. And then we went back on the tourist bus. Oh, and the tourist bus is really slow because it makes a bunch of stops. So it took us like an hour, 15 minutes to get from the catamaran to the stadium, and I almost fell asleep because I was so tired. Like the bus just lulled me to sleep. It was so hard to fight it. But I didn't fall asleep. And then we made it to the stadium. Oh yeah, I already said that part. And then we got like 45 minutes to go to the like gift shop and viewpoint or whatever. It's under construction, so the viewpoint really wasn't anything to look at, but we went to the gift shop, and a jersey with a name on it, not even signed, is 150 euros, which is even more in American dollars, so like, jeez. And then after that, we rode the tourist bus back to the hostel. I went back to the hostel to get some water because you have to pay for water everywhere. Like, asking for tap water isn't even an option. You just have to buy bottled water. So it's been a little hard to stay hydrated, but I've been doing it. And then I went for dinner with Amalia. We got crepes, but I didn't realize that the sauce was cheesy, and so I couldn't eat that much because it like was messing with me. But I think I ate enough without eating too much cheese, so I think my stomach should be fine. And then I went to the grocery store to get, or like the market, convenience store or whatever, and I picked up a protein bar because tomorrow we're going to a like an adventure park, like with roller coasters and water rides and stuff. So I wanted to be prepared for that. And yeah, so then after this I'm gonna call my family because I haven't done that yet and I feel kind of bad. And then I'll take a shower and go to bed early-ish, hopefully, because I have to get up like an hour and a half earlier tomorrow than the last couple of days. But yeah, so that was my day 3 in Barcelona, day 4 overall. Okay, so it's day like 4, 5, I kind of forget by now. But today was really fun. It might have been the best day just because I got to know my friends better, but we'll get to that. So this morning I woke up, got breakfast. We had to get up like an hour and a half earlier than the last couple days because we were going to an adventure park or like an amusement park. So I got up early, got ready for the day, got breakfast, and then Yule, the German girl, wanted to get water for the adventure park, and so we went to this bakery, and oh my god, it looked so, like, everything looked delicious. Like, there were donuts and croissants and like just every pastry, and so I took a picture and you'll see it on the screen. But it was really cool. And then we went back to the hostel and we like met up in the meeting place and then got on a bus. And so me and Yule ended up being on the same bus, but then Nella was on a different bus, and then Amalia was sick. I feel so bad, so she couldn't go today. So she wasn't on either bus, but me and Yule sit together in like the very back of the bus, and we didn't really talk. Like up until today, we haven't really been talking. It's just like companionable silence. But then when we do talk, then like we get along and stuff. But so we were just sitting and I don't know, looking out the window and stuff. It was like an hour and a half to get there, and then so we got there and it was sprinkling a tiny bit, but we were like, it's fine, it'll be fine. And so we walk in, we take a picture, and then by the end of the picture, it's raining, lightly, but still, like raining, not just sprinkling. And so we start walking towards the first ride. Oh, and by then I have my jacket out. It's like the pink one that mom gave me, which I thought was waterproof, but apparently it's not, because we were walking and then it started raining and it started pouring and it just soaked through my jacket like pretty fast. And so my friends and I, Yule, Nella and Mika, we went under a bridge to like shield ourselves from the water, but it was still getting down somehow. So then we booked it to the like shop, like souvenir shop, I guess, and we all bought rain ponchos, which was €8.50, €8.50, which kind of hurt, but it was worth it because then we had them and we could walk around and like have our bags under the poncho. And then we went into like the Chinatown area of the theme park because it was like split up into like China, Italy, and like different themes, and like Sesame Street. And so we got in line for a ride and it said the wait was like an hour 20 minutes, and we were like, well, I mean, like it kind of sucks, but like whatever, we'll just wait. And so we're in there for an hour, and at first we're like not talking and it's like kind of boring, not gonna lie. And so I was like, okay, what can we do to like get us talking and like playing stuff? And so we're like just talking. And so I was like, okay, there's this game that I have called Heads Up where it's like basically charades but on a phone, but that's not really good because we're in a line and so a bunch of people are watching and like we're all shy, so that wouldn't work. And then I'm like, oh my god, we could just learn each other's languages. So we learn a couple of phrases in each other's languages and it's so funny. We got some videos which I'll post soon, but we learned each other's languages and there's a lot of background noise because we're in line, so sorry for that, but I'll play that now.
Ich spreche Deutsch. Mina 不会说没有？我会讲中文。Mein Name ist Jule. Mein Name ist Nella. Mein Name ist Kayla. Minun nimeni on Nella. Minun nimeni on Kayla. Minun nimeni on Jule. 我叫 Kayla. Oh, sorry. 我叫 Jule. 我叫 Nella. Ich bin 16. Ich bin 16. Ich bin 17. Minä olen 17. Minä olen 16. Minä olen 16. 我今年16岁。我今年17岁。我今年16岁。Wo sind wir gerade? Keine Ahnung. Wo sind wir gerade? Keine Ahnung. Wo sind wir gerade? Keine Ahnung. Missä me olemme nyt? Minulla ei ole hajuakaan. Missä me olemme nyt? Minulla ei ole hajuakaan. Missä me olemme nyt? Minulla ei ole hajuakaan. 我们在哪里？我不知道。我们在哪里？我不知道。我们在哪里？我不知道。
Okay, so after we did that, just like 5 minutes after finishing, then we hear an announcement. Hey guys, so the rain is coming down too hard and the ride is closed for now. So you can get a ticket if you want to come back in line, or you can stay in line, but like ride's not going anywhere right now. So we're like, oh my god, we've already been here for an hour. What do we do? So we decide to leave. We had been under an overhang because the line was under an overhang, but we go out into the rain in search for food because we're all hungry by this point. So we go out into the rain and it's pouring and oh my god, it's horrible. But we make it to like this kind of restaurant. It's more like a shack in the Chinatown area, and I got noodles with vegetables, but it was literally just straight noodles with like some green onion. It was horrible, so not very good, but it was food, so that's good. And then after that, there was this whole debate on the WhatsApp group chat whether we would go back early because it was pouring and like no one was really having fun. And so like there was this whole thing of like, are we leaving? Are we not leaving? Like, when are we leaving? And so we were like, okay, well, if we don't know if we're leaving and we're miserable here anyway, we may as well just start heading back towards the entrance, because by then it had let up a little bit. So we walked towards the entrance, and then by the time we got to the entrance / exit, it had cleared up, like totally cleared up. So we're like, okay, cool. So like we'll wander around a little bit, and then it started sprinkling again, and then it started raining. So we're like, okay, enough is enough. So we ended up finding this spot. It was so perfect. It was like a restaurant that was closed for the day, but it had outside seating under an overhang. So we just had chairs and an overhang, and we were like, okay, like we'll sit here. And so we sit, and at first we're like talking a little bit, but not much. And I'm like, hey, you guys want to play heads up? And they were like, sure. So we play heads up, and it's really fun, and we're like laughing a lot. And then play that for like honestly like an hour, and it's really fun. And like there were these people sitting near us, and they were just watching the game because it was so fun. And then after that, we just started chatting, like actually chatting, and it was really fun. And then I like use the bathroom, and we leave. And then, oh, I forgot to say, but that morning during breakfast, I talked to the 2 Taiwanese girls, and they were really surprised that I knew Chinese, and like, I think they thought it was cool that I spoke it, because I don't look it, you know. But yeah, and then I found out that there's this Taiwanese guy, so I was like, okay, well maybe I can talk to him too. And so I walk up to him before we get on the bus to go back to the hostel. I'm like, hey, like, you're Taiwanese, right? Like, I speak Chinese too. And he's like, oh, really? That's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, my dad's Chinese, blah, 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 blah. And then I walk away because it was kind of awkward. And then we get on the bus, and I thought we were supposed to have the same seats as the way there, but no one was following that. So then I was like, oh, I have no seat. So I couldn't sit next to Yule because she already got a seat. And so I was like walking the aisle trying to see where I had a seat, and there was no seat. And so I got to the very front, and I was like, okay, like, should I just sit here? I asked the staff, and they were like, yeah, you can either sit here on the other bus. And I was like, well, I don't really want to move. So I sat there, and it just so happened it was next to the Taiwanese guy. So then the entire way back, I was just talking to him in English, but we were talking about Taiwan, so, and yeah, that was cool. And then after the ride, we had an early evening. We got back at like maybe 7. So then me, Yule, Nella, this other German girl, and a Norwegian girl, I forget their names, went to get like Chinese food, and I got this chicken salad, and it was really good. And then we walked back, and me and Yule went to the market to get some stuff for her, and then the bakery to get a sandwich for her for tomorrow, because she has to get up really crazy early, like 2:30 or 3 to go to the airport. So she wanted some food prepped. And then I came back to the hostel, packed a little bit for meeting my host family tomorrow, and now I'm recording the video. And then we have a short little meeting, like information meeting for tomorrow, in like half an hour. And then I'll come back, get ready for bed, have an early night, and go to bed. So yeah, sorry this is a long one. Oh, and I forgot to say, but another difference between Spain and the US is that the Carlines are tiny, so I have a picture of that. Okay, that's it. Bye.
Update, I just had the information meeting about host family stuff tomorrow, and I just had to say goodbye to Yule, and it was surprisingly hard, but we're gonna stay in contact and call and text each other, so it should be okay. But
hey guys, so honestly I kind of forget what day it is, maybe like 5 or 6, but today was a really long day. It's 12:20 and I still have to get ready for bed. But so I slept really bad last night. I went to bed at I stopped reading at like 11:30, but some girls in my room had to leave at 3 a.m. for their flight, and so they were making noise all throughout the night packing, and the girl on the top bunk, like sharing my bunk, kept moving around and making the bed squeak and like making the bed move around, and it was so hard to sleep. So if I went to bed at 11:30 and got up at 7:30, that would be 8 hours of sleep, but I think I got more like 5. So that sucked. And then I went on the plane. Oh, I had breakfast. Went on the bus, and then went through security and like checked in the bag and everything. Sorry if I'm talking slow, I'm really tired. And then we got through security, and we got there like an hour and a half before boarding. And so Nella and I found somewhere to sit, just like in the airport somewhere, because we didn't have a gate yet. We didn't have a gate number, so we just sat like in a hallway somewhere on chairs. And I was like, okay, this is a perfect opportunity to do some video editing, because I have all these videos and I haven't edited yet. And so I was trying to put a video from my phone onto my computer, but I had to use Google Drive, and there was this whole thing of not enough storage. So I tried to move photos from Google Photos to Amazon Photos, but I deleted them too early, and so I lost them and refound them, and it was this whole thing. And I was kind of stressed out because I was also stressed out about meeting the family, and it just was not a good time. But then we got in line for boarding and boarded the plane, and I was going to try to do some more editing on the plane because I thought they had Wi-Fi, and they do, but you have to pay for it. And I didn't think paying for it was worth it, so I didn't do any editing, which actually was probably for the best, because then I read and slept a little bit instead, which I think just helped calm my nerves more. And then we landed, and me, Nella, and Amalia were on the same flight, so we like watched each other's luggage. We used the bathroom, and then we like picked up our checked baggage. And then right outside the baggage pickup was this like big room where all of the students were meeting their host families. And so me and Nella were the last ones, and we walk out and we're looking around and we see all these students and all these parents, and we're like, okay, wait, who's our family? And then we see them, and it's Maribel, Maria, and Gabriel. So the mom, the daughter, and the son, so all of them. And they help us with our luggage, and then we get in a car, and on the way to the house, it wasn't that long of a drive because the airport was actually in Jerez. So it was like, I don't know, 15-20 minute drive, and me, Nella, Gabriel, and Maria, so us and the siblings, drove in the car together, and it was really fun just listening to music. And then we got to the house, and we had lunch around 3:30, and it was like paella, but not. It was a dish like a paella, but it wasn't paella. I'll have a picture. And we were talking to Maribel, and she seems really nice. She seems like a good person, but we don't immediately click. So I'll update you on how that goes. But we were speaking in Spanish, and she was really impressed by my Spanish. She was like, wow, you have a big vocabulary and grammar is really good. And I was like, oh, thanks. And we were talking about how me and Nella had learned Spanish, and about how Americans learn languages by listening to songs, which is kind of true, but kind of not true. And then Europeans learn languages by just straight grammar and just hardcore. And so she thought it was interesting that I was good at past, present, and future tenses, even though we didn't actually study them in school. And I think it's just because with immersion you just learn what sounds right. Just like a kid learning their own language, you just learn what sounds right, and then you don't need the rules, you just know. So yeah, it was cool using my Spanish, and definitely took more brain power than English, but I was doing pretty well keeping up. And then we just kind of sat and talked for 4 hours, and it was really draining. Even though it wasn't at first, it ended up being draining, and I just wanted to go up to my room, but I didn't want to be rude. Oh, and at lunch, me and Nella helped set the table, and oh my god, total culture shock. We ate in front of the TV, and Maribel made lunch for me, Nella, and Gabriel because Maria was like watching a movie with her boyfriend or something. And so she gave us one plate at a time. Like, she made it earlier and then we just warmed it up. And so we brought our dishes one at a time to the table and then went back into the kitchen to wait and see if she needed more help with anything, and just to wait until she got to the table too. And she was like, "What, you're not gonna go to the table? Aren't you hungry?" And we're like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, you don't want cold food, do you?" And we were like, "No." She's like, "Then go eat." And we were like, "Okay." So we just went to the table and started eating in front of the TV with Gabrielle without her, which was really weird because usually you wait for everyone to be there and it's usually not in front of the TV. But it was cool. And then yeah, afterwards we talked for like 4 hours and I didn't want to say that I wanted to leave because I thought it was rude, but I guess it probably would have been fine, but I'm learning. It's all an adjustment. And then for some reason, as I was learning about the town and everything, I got really homesick. I don't know why, because I know I'm gonna have so much fun here. And I'm excited to go to school and stuff. Just every time I thought about home or my family, I just started crying. Or I wanted to cry, but I didn't. So this is probably the toughest day so far, even though it's also a good day. But yeah. So we talked for 4 hours and then we went on a drive. We went to the supermarket to get some food for dinner, and then we drove around the city for a while, and I was so tired in the back seat, and Maribel kept talking, and I tried hard to listen, but it was Spanish and I was tired, and so it sounded like blah, 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 to me. Like, I couldn't understand anything. But then we came back and we had dinner. We had dinner at like, I can't remember, 10:30 maybe, 10:30. And again, in front of the TV, and I was already done with my dinner by the time Maribel came to sit down. And we watched a movie, and I had to ask the hostess, they're like, "Hey, am I supposed to stay here a certain amount of time, or like, how does this work?" She's like, "No, just leave whenever you want. You can stay however long you want. You can watch the whole movie, or you can go now, like whatever." I was like, "Okay, well, I think I'm just gonna go now because I wanted to call Mom. It was a tough day." But while we were out on the drive, I saw some cool things. There was like a statue, and the parking lines. It's just like a parking lot. It extends on to the wall so that you can see where you're going, which is so cool. I think that's so smart. And then everything is really narrow. The lanes are really narrow, and like the cars are narrow. And when they parallel park, the spaces between the cars is narrow. Like, it's crazy. And then I saw like a traffic light roundabout, like a roundabout but with the lines and a traffic light. It was weird. And then also Maribel has been really like great about gluten and dairy. So like at lunch, everyone had bread, and she had bought me gluten-free bread, so it was great. And then like burgers, we bought gluten-free burger buns and dairy-free cheese, and like she's being really great about it. And she dresses really fancy. Like, I think everyone dresses fancy, but she was wearing like a long denim skirt and like a flowery shirt, but everyone dresses really fancy, and I just have jean shorts and shirts. So I'm gonna have to do some shopping, but I'm okay with that. And then I think tomorrow I need to buy a charging cord because the charger is like really finicky. But yeah, so after dinner I came upstairs. I called mom for like 20 or 25 minutes and it helped, but it made me cry so much. But it helped. And then after I called her, I unpacked my suitcases. My suitcases are completely empty. I pretty much organized all my stuff in like 2 wardrobes, like a big wardrobe and then like a half wardrobe. And then I put my empty suitcases under the bed, which looks really cool. I have a picture of that. And then I sat down to record this, and now it's 12:30, and I really need to get ready for bed and go to bed because I have to catch up on sleep, which probably won't happen tonight, but I'm gonna try. Okay, bye. Oh, and something I forgot to say earlier is that I really don't like the Spanish food so far. Like, I just don't like it. So I'll keep you posted on that too. Bye.